Beaver Creek, Colorado, in the beautiful library of the Hyatt at the base of the mountain. We're going to be interviewing Shannon Tanner. This man knows hundreds and hundreds of songs and will play them by request. Let's go talk to Shannon.
Well, I grew up close to the coast. I was very fortunate in that I grew up climbing trees and running around barefoot in the summer. Tough side of the track to grow up on, but once again, you don't know that when you're a kid. So I grew up with lots of love. My mom was a super lady. She was a very young mom, so she would do things like I remember she would bring all the kids in the neighborhood over and tell them it was under the auspice of a party, and then when the kids would get over there, she would tell them it was a bean shelling party. And so she would have all kind of contests about who could shell the most beans, you know. And of course, we were all about that, you know, having no idea that she was accomplishing the task. Really, my first interest musically was drums. My mom and dad got me a drum set somewhere around 8 years old for Christmas. And it was just a play drum set. It wasn't even a real drum set. And I remember just driving everybody absolutely insane with that. I had a couple of kids at school that came home with me one day because we were going to form a band at 8 years old. And Donny Osmond was huge back then. My uncle played guitar, and a friend of his named Wade Kalinowski played guitar. And I would go over there every day and put Boston, that first Boston album, which to this day I can still play every drum beat in the whole album from start to finish, and I can hear it every time I hear the album. I would turn it up loud on this record player, and I would sit in there and practice. And I played drums, and I would start playing his guitar a little bit. And my sister, Faith, played guitar with the youth group, Episcopal Young Churchmen, and they would go to camp every summer. I never was a part of that, but I always wanted to. She would come back with stories of sitting around the campfire on the beach at Camp St. Christopher and playing guitar, and somehow that kind of intrigued me, and so I decided, you know, that's something I really like to do. And I picked up her guitar first, I think, and then I bought my uncle's guitar, and that's when I started playing. And that's really kind of when I started. I've been singing my whole life, but that's when I really plugged into singing and playing guitar. My first idea that I could actually make money playing music came when I was sitting on I had gone out for a trip on the shrimp boat with my stepfather, and he tied the shrimp boat up at this restaurant called Hudson's in Hilton Head. And we'd come back, and we'd gotten through with all our work, and the boat was tied up, and the people who wait for dinner there all come down on the docks and look at the shrimp boats and stuff. So I was back there playing the guitar, and I was probably about 15. And the people started gathering around on the dock, and I was playing father and son, I think. And some guy, when I got through, I said, "Excuse me, son," and he held out a $5 bill. And it was like, hello, I can make money doing this? And it wasn't long after that, the owner, Brian Carmine, came to me and said, "Hey, you know, we'd love to have you come up on the dock and play for the people waiting for dinner, and we'll pay you. We'll pay you like $50 a night, and you can put a little tip jar out there." And of course, I've died and gone to heaven. I'm 15 or 16 years old, $50 a night to play music. So my stepfather purchased me a PA system, and I had to pay him back. Nothing was ever. Let me make sure nothing was ever given to me as a kid. My dad or my stepdad. I had the whole give you thing was not part of our family way. It was earn it or you go without. I remember one night I used to walk around and do tableside magic after I get through playing, and it was wonderful. I do tableside magic because I'm a magician as well. And my son one night said, "Dad," and Taylor was only about, I don't know, maybe 8, and he goes, "Dad, I've learned some magic tricks with the yo-yo. Would you mind if I stayed around tonight and went tableside with you?" And of course, I was like, "Yeah, you know, how bad can it be?" You know, as far as the response from the Hyatt, I didn't think they would mind. So I let him stick around, and sure enough, you know, he makes all the tips that night. Nobody tips me; they're giving him money. but he's, he's doing the little walk the dog, and he's doing just the simple tricks that you learn when you first get a yo-yo. And I think he's up to about 60 or 75 bucks, in tips, and he's 8 years old, So I'm thinking to myself, I'm really going to have to start encouraging college now, especially now that he's got a dose of the entertainment world. But the funniest thing is, he was all the way over on the other side of the Whiskey Elk, and he started to do around the world. And the yo-yo came off the string and flew across the bar and hit some glasses behind the bar. A couple of glasses fell and broke. And I was trying not to laugh because I was looking at him and his little face was pale, and he just felt like, oh my God, I know he was thinking he was in big trouble, but I think everybody thought it was the funniest thing. It was great entertainment.
Tell us about your guitar that people signed.
Well, I had that guitar. It was actually bought for me by the owner of Pelican Point and given to me in '82, something like that, the year I graduated. I think he gave it to me as a graduation gift from high school. And it was a very expensive guitar. It was a Martin D41, and I just started getting people to sign it along the way, and had some pretty interesting people sign it. I remember Clint Eastwood. I met him. I was over at the place getting ready to go to Vino's cabin, and I held up my guitar and said, "Mr. Eastwood, would you sign this guitar?" And it was just like the movies. I mean, he looked up and he went, "It's an old timer, isn't it?" I said, "Yes, sir, it is." And all of a sudden, this lady, he got ready to leave, and he walked to the door, and this lady said, "Mr. Eastwood, may I snap a picture?" And he goes, and it was just like the movie. I mean, he just like, it was like, "You better snap it fast." And I mean, and then of course Dan Fogelberg, he was at my show out there on the deck, and he walked up and he complimented me on playing leader of the band, and I didn't know it was him because he had his key garb on, his glasses, and he goes, "Hey, do you mind if I sign the guitar?" And I said, "Nah, no, just famous people can sign this." And he pulled his glasses down and he went, "I wrote that last song. Does that qualify?" And it was Dan Fogelberg. And so I met a lot of people. President Ford, I was very, very honored to have met him and actually gotten to be decent friends with him. We did the tree lighting together here every year for about 6 years, and then he quit doing it, but I've continued doing it. I think if I had to give a summation of my life to this point, it would be that I've tried to be transparent. I've tried to be authentic. I've tried to be a great husband. I've tried to be a great dad. I've tried to be a great brother and a great son to my mother. And if I could tell someone in my family something, as if I weren't here anymore, I would say this: that I have absolutely lived the greatest, most blessed life a human being could ever live.